When you say adventure touring, what do you really mean? Is it clocking endless highway miles? Is it getting dirty on trails every weekend? Or is it getting to a point where the tarmac simply disappears and you explore the back roads? TVS says the new Apache RTX 300 can do it all. Tow, trail, and everything in between. But standing in its way is the Suzuki V-Strom 250 SX, a motorcycle that's already proven itself as a solid, no-nonsense touring machine. Both bikes sit in the same price bracket. Both bikes promise adventure, but they approach it very differently. So here's the real question. Is the Apache RTX 300 the smarter bike today? And if you already own a V-Strom 250 SX, is this enough reason to switch to TVS? That's what we intend to find out in this comparison. But before we get going, if you're new to our channel, you know the drill. Like it, hit that bell so that you get notified every time we ride an interesting new motorcycle or bring you an interesting comparison like this, so that you can make an informed decision to put down your hard-earned money. For now, let's get down to comparing these two in detail. The new TVS Apache RTX nails the ADV look. In fact, it looks like a much bigger bike than it is, with styling which to my eyes looks somewhat like a last generation Triumph Tiger 800 XRX. With the accessory handguards, crash guard, bash plate, rear tire hugger and luggage carrier, the TVS looks like the more purposeful ADV than the Suzuki, and it gets proper ADV kit, long travel suspension and gets full adjustability as well, at least with the built-to-order kit. The Suzuki V-Strom SX, on the other hand, is based on the street-focused Gixxer 250. It does get a bigger 19-inch front wheel and wears ADV clothes to give it that stance. However, the Suzuki's suspension has limited travel, more suited for tarmac adventures and touring rather than off-road excursions. So that's how both these adventure tourers look. This one of course is a couple of years old now, but if you look at them side by side, it is the Apache which looks like a proper big ADV. It's got more visual mass, and despite the engine size, it looks bigger than what it is. So if you want road presence, in my opinion, it's the Apache which looks like a proper big ADV. You let us know which one of these two bikes do you like and why. In terms of features, the V-Strom 250 SX, it's based on the street-oriented Gixxer 250. So it's got dual channel ABS, yes, but there is no traction control. It gets Bluetooth connectivity, but an LCD screen, and you get turn-by-turn navigation. That's about it. No other fancy features. The Apache, on the other hand, is fully loaded with a long list of features not seen in any bike at that price point and in this particular segment. It gets 4 ride modes. You get urban, rain, tour and a rally mode, which disables the rear ABS, dual channel ABS of course, but it's switchable on the rear wheel. It also gets standard traction control, standard cruise control across all variants, and on the top variants you also get a bi-directional quick shifter. In the BTO variant, which is this model, it also gives you access to fully adjustable suspension, a tire pressure monitoring system and a brass coated chain. So if you want a long list of features, it is the Apache which has the upper hand. Even on the base variant, you will get traction control, you will of course get the ABS, and you also will have cruise control standard on the base variant, which is actually priced similar to the V-Strom 250 SX. This one also gets map mirroring navigation, so your Google Maps, the way you see it on your phone, can be mirrored on the cluster, so that's a very handy thing to have. And it also gets variable intensity headlights, which according to the light, when it's getting dark, the intensity of the headlight automatically adjusts according to the light conditions. So quite a well kitted out in terms of features. If you're a tech geek, you want a whole lot of features to play with, it is the Apache which will probably suit your requirements. The new RTX D4 single-cylinder engine is all about mid-range muscle and top-end excitement. There's a strong surge of power and a loud intake howl once you cross 5000 RPM. At 7000 RPM, you can cruise steady at 708 km per hour, and by 9000 RPM, you can hit 130. Keep it spinning between 6000 and 8000 RPM and the engine feels alive, delivering its most exciting performance. But this is where it's thirsty as well. In our tests, the RTX 300 managed to return just 25 km per liter in mixed riding conditions, and on the highway, it just managed to touch 30 km per liter. Comparatively, the Suzuki's engine performance shines in its simplicity and honesty. On paper, it has less power and torque, but the V-Strom 250's engine has a linear and eager performance across the rev range that's more suited to everyday riding. The Suzuki's engine is refined when you accelerate through the gears, and 95 to 100 km per hour speed is its sweet spot. But beyond that, the vibes begin to get in. In fact, there are a couple of vibey spots around 3500 RPM and around 5500 RPM. But the vibes aren't so much that you will protest. There's a minor buzz, but it's manageable. All said and done, it's a tried and tested platform that will give you the feel of quiet confidence and do its job without fuss and without protest. The Suzuki is more fuel efficient as well. In our tests in mixed riding conditions, this one returned an impressive 37.5 km per liter. Out on the highway, if you go easy, you can easily expect 40 km per liter. So in terms of range, this definitely has the upper hand. The Suzuki's road bias suspension can handle mild trails as we have experienced in the past. But make no mistake, it's more of a sport tourer than a true adventure bike. The Apache RTX, however, has genuine off-road capability. Its excellent suspension can take on rough terrain with confidence, and even on twisty roads, it shows poise that rivals the Suzuki. But then, the TVS service center didn't quite give a thorough check on our test unit, which came with a loose handlebar and a bash plate that made the RTX noisier than it actually is. But once sorted, the RTX felt smooth and composed across city roads, highways and corners. Braking performance is good on the RTX, but the suspension dive on the RTX is something you'll have to get used to. The RTX isn't lethargic at low revs. Yes, it's docile compared to the mid and high rev performance, but it will pull cleanly from 2000 RPM onwards as long as you're not in a tearing hurry to get anywhere. Out on the highway, you can cruise comfortably at 100-110 all day long. And if you want to break the law, get the cops after you, you can go up to 145 km per hour. At 9000 RPM, which is where the red line begins, you will sit at 130 kmph and you still have 15 odd km per hour more in reserve. Yes, it's a single cylinder engine and there will be some vibes, and so is the case with the RTX D4 engine. Out on longer rides, you will feel some buzz on the pegs and on the handlebar. It's not something which will take away your riding experience or tire you out, but the buzz is felt and it's minimal. But not everything is hunky-dory. We first reported an issue in the fueling while we rode it first in the mountains, and that inconsistency seems to remain. The RTX seems to lose power every now and then while changing gears. It's not always there, but creeps up every now and then. I first noticed it on a rainy morning and I thought it was the case of the traction control being too sensitive. Several runs trying the traction control on and off, the quick shifter on and off, I've traced the issue to the quick shifter. Otherwise, the quick shifter works fine, seamless upshifts, seamless downshifts. But when you're upshifting, every now and then the throttle loses power. And if you switch the quick shifter off, which is quite easy to do, that seemed to have solved the problem. Knowing how TVS has consistently improved the RR310 over several iterations, I have no doubt that this issue will be sorted out in future as well. In the end, the RTX D4 is still a brand new engine. How it fares in the long run is a subject for another day. Both bikes offer an upright, touring-friendly riding position, but the Suzuki feels slightly sportier. Its shorter windscreen offers limited wind protection at highway speeds. The Apache RTX offers a more relaxed perch, though some wind buffeting over its windscreen does show up at speed. Now both these bikes run on 19-inch front wheels and 17-inch rear wheels, but it's the Apache which has got the wider tire profile. In terms of ground clearance, more or less similar. This one actually has 5 mm more ground clearance. It's got a 205 mm ground clearance compared to 200 mm ground clearance on the Apache RTX 300. Now let's take a look at the ergonomics. Seat height also is the same, 835 mm. On this, I can flat foot both sides. I am 5 foot 9 inches. I guess if you are about 5'7", 5'8", you will be comfortably sitting on this bike, the RTX 300. And the riding posture is upright, comfortable. This actually feels like a true blue adventure tourer in terms of the ergonomics. And when you're riding off-road, the stand-up ergonomics are also quite nice according to my height and size. But the RTX 300 is the heavier bike. It's 180 kg curb weight, which is 13 kgs heavier than the V-Strom 250 SX. So if you're new to this kind of motorcycles, you may find the weight of this motorcycle a little daunting to begin with. It's only on paper. Once you get moving, you won't feel the weight too much. But yes, it's the V-Strom 250 SX which is the lighter bike, and it makes its lighter weight felt when you ride them back to back, especially when filtering to traffic or pushing it around of parking lots. Seat height again is the same, 835 mm, but there is a difference. The shape of the seat on the V-Strom is slightly flared here. So with my height, I can't flat foot both sides. So even if you're comfortable on the RTX, the V-Strom feels like the taller bike. Ergonomics also, the V-Strom feels, there's a little reach to the handlebar, more like a street bike, not really an adventure touring upright ergonomics. So it is the Apache RTX 300 which has the better ergonomics in terms of riding position. And of course, the weight difference, 13 kgs is a little bit more, but you feel the lighter weight on the V-Strom, that's an advantage. Whereas the heavier RTX, you will feel the weight, especially in crawling speeds and while pushing it out of parking spots. The Suzuki V-Strom SX is available in just one variant and priced at 1,98,000 rupees ex-showroom. At roughly the same price, you also get the TVS Apache RTX base variant. Prices for the top variant RTX go up to 2,14,000 rupees ex-showroom, while the fully kitted out BTO variant will cost more if you want the added frills. The Suzuki V-Strom 250 was crowned the Car and Bike Motorcycle of the Year back in 2023, and there's no doubt why. It comes across as a simple, no-frills tourer which does the job and does it well. Its refined engine, reliability and fuel economy means you still can't go wrong if you decide to go for this. However, in 2026, TVS has upped the game with the RTX 300, which offers a whole list of tech, real adventure capability and super bang for your buck. This one is one adventure tourer in its segment which is difficult to resist. But what remains a point of contention is the service that TVS offers. A lot of our viewers have been writing in complaining about TVS service, and we also felt it to some extent. When this test unit came to us, the handlebar was loose, the front clamp was loose, the sump guard was loose, making a lot of noise. I had to send it back to get all those things fixed, again ride it, over a period of time. But still, the point is, at that price point, the Apache RTX 300 offers a well-rounded adventure touring package that is difficult to resist. It offers capability and features that rivals even some of the adventure bikes a segment above it. And I think that's reason enough to consider it. And eventually, this one is now the 2026 Car and Bike Motorcycle of the Year.